What's up, guys? Welcome to your 74th Android tutorial for the Young Buck, also known as the New Boston or Bucky. What we're going to do now is I decided to do a few more graphics ones just because on my channel a lot of people have been wanting to do game stuff and graphics and all that good stuff. So what I'm going to do is basically nothing too new, but we're going to kind of review, and this is what our application finished product is going to do, is basically when you click, it starts and it creates a bitmap right at our starting point, and as we hold down our mouse we let go and it also does another plus right at our end point. So that can be kind of useful to see how, like, you know, if you're launching this ball, we can get those 2 points and use the velocity to, you know, launch the ball a certain speed over time. So that's essentially what we're gonna get to. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the end result before we actually get into it. So you guys can kind of follow along. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up some more float variables. SX for starting X point, SY for a starting Y point, and then FX for a finishing X point, and FY for our finishing Y point. And again, all we're going to do is just kind of set those all equal to be 0 right at the beginning, because we're going to kind of use the same layout here. So let's do that real quick. Thought that'd be a shortcut, but it really wasn't that much of a shortcut there. So nothing new yet, but basically I want to show you guys what we can do with the motion event, because we did kind of use it, but we didn't really get into too much. So what we're actually going to do now is set up our bitmap first. So let's scroll down to where we set up our first bitmap called test. Let's actually cut that test out of our if loop right here and define it within our onCreate method. So I'm just going to paste that up here. Hit Control V, and you know, we define this bitmap. We're also going to want that bitmap to be accessible to both classes that we have set up. So we're going to set up a bitmap variable called test, and then we're also going to call one plus. That's going to be the plus symbol that we're going to use, and then we just need to delete again this bitmap here. Now I'm just going to again copy this line of code. I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but hopefully we aren't doing anything new yet for the most part, and set up our plus bitmap. All we have to do now is change the resource here to our plus image that we have in our drawable folder. So there we go, we have all our bitmaps and all of our initial points set up. Now let's go back into our onTouch method. And this is where we're going to kind of define, you know, our X and our starting X and our starting Y. But first what we're going to do is we're going to use a switch and case, which again we're familiar with. We're going to get kind of the information from what type of motion event it is. So we're going to say switch, and then we're going to say event, because again that's the motion events that's being passed in. We're going to hit dot get action, and that's going to tell us what kind of action's happening at the current moment, because we have this as true, so it's going to keep looping through for pretty much every moment. And then we just need to do a bracket as well and set up our cases. So we're going to say case, and then we're going to refer to the motion event class, and then we can hit dot, and we have the events that can happen. So down is right when we first click. So what we're going to do within this case, we're going to set up our starting X, our start X, and then it's just going to be again equal to event dot get X. Again, kind of review here, and then also our starting Y, and that's going to be event dot get Y, and there we go. And then all we have to do is say break here, and then we're going to set up our other case, which is going to be the release. So we're going to say motion event dot you know, action up. So type that out, and that's when we're going to let our finger off of the screen, and then we're going to set up our final X, and this is going to be again event dot get X, and FY, our final Y, is going to again be event dot get Y. So there we go. We're going to kind of have these different X and Y values, This one's going to be consistently updating. This one's going to be right when we press down, and this one's going to be right when we press up. So let's just put a break there as well. Now that we have everything set up, we're going to go back within our canvas, and we're going to kind of set up some more of these if statements that we did previously. So I'm going to copy 3 of those, because again we're going to say one is for our starting x if it's not equal to 0, and our starting y is not equal to 0. And then we're also going to do our final y and our final x here. Hopefully this tutorial is not too long, but I mean it's pretty simple. And speaking too fast here. Instead of our test, we're going to do our plus bitmap that we set up at the beginning of the tutorial for both of these. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to get we can still use this kind of equation where we take half of the width and subtract that from our final x. So it's kind of placed right in the center as well. This will be our starting x for this one, and again our plus bitmap, we're going to get half of the width, even though both of our plus and our test are both 75 pixels by 75 pixels, but that's besides the point. And then again we say starting x and starting y, so we're going to say starting y minus plus half the height as well, and then we're going to do our final y, and again minus half of the plus height. There we go. We're done. Basically this tutorial mainly just went over the different types of motion actions that we can get. Again, we use the switch case to get the action of what type of event it is. We set up the cases to be either down or up. And then when we save it and hopefully run it, we won't get any errors. It's a pretty quick tutorial, but hopefully you guys are starting to understand the graphics and understand just Java in general if you guys are new to that as well. This probably isn't the prettiest way to code, but it's gonna work for us, so that's fine. And then the next tutorial will actually use those points to kind of animate something. Maybe, I don't know, but see, we get our starting point when we first click. We're still pressed down on the screen, and then when we release up, there's our other plus, which is also right in the center. So hopefully you guys like that tutorial. It's pretty simple, pretty quick, and you guys learn about motion events. I gotta go. Peace.